From deadly storms sweeping the South to a historic medical breakthrough in California, a tribute to a TV icon and President Trump's $175 billion missile defense plan. We've got the top stories you need to know today. Plus, of course, the trivia question. What river flows through the most countries? The only hint is that it's not in America. So where could it be? I'll tell you at the end of the show. It's Wednesday, May 21st. This is the Flyover Podcast. Welcome to the Flyover Podcast, taking you above the noise for an unbiased, high-altitude view of today's headlines with daily coverage that's honest and refreshing. Let's cruise the news and land the facts. Good morning. I'm your weekday host, Ayla Brown. It is a brand new day, and we've got everything you need to know to stay informed, from headlines that matter to stories that just might surprise you. Also, I love Wednesdays because in the Rotator section, I'll be giving you a couple ways to hopefully improve your life. So grab your coffee, settle in, and let's take off with today's top stories. Severe weather is back in the forecast for much of the Midwest and South. More than 30 million Americans are under threat as another round of intense storms moves through the southern plains, Midwest, and Southeast. Forecasters are warning about hurricane-force winds, flash flooding, and hail as large as tennis balls. One of the highest risk zones stretches across nearly all of Tennessee and Kentucky, affecting over 13 million people. Another broader region from Indianapolis down to Atlanta, including cities like St. Louis, Memphis, and Birmingham, is also under alert. This comes after a deadly stretch of storms that killed at least 28 people and left more than 127,000 without power, mostly in Missouri and Kentucky. So far, at least 115 tornadoes have been reported since last Thursday, making 2025 the second most active tornado year in record. In medical news, doctors in California have made history with the world's first successful human bladder transplant. Surgeons at UCLA and USC performed the 8-hour procedure on Oscar Lorenzar, a father in his 40s who also received a new kidney during the same operation. He had been on dialysis for 7 years, and now, thanks to this transplant, he no longer needs it. The breakthrough came after 4 years of collaboration and is part of a clinical trial at UCLA. Doctors say it could offer hope for thousands of people suffering from bladder dysfunction, a condition that currently has limited treatment options. And finally, we are remembering actor George Wendt, best known as Norm on the classic NBC sitcom Cheers. He passed away peacefully in his sleep Tuesday morning at the age of 76. Wendt appeared in all 275 episodes of Cheers, earning 6 straight Emmy nominations for playing the lovable, beer-loving barfly. He got his start in the comedy with The Second City in Chicago, and over the years, he reprised the Norm role in Frasier and other shows, even leading his own short-lived sitcom on CBS. He is survived by his wife, Bernadette Burkett, who actually voiced Norm's off-screen wife on Cheers, and their 3 children. There's a lot going on in politics. Let's start with a major national security announcement. President Trump has unveiled plans for a new missile defense system called the Golden Dome, modeled after Israel's Iron Dome, but on a much larger scale. This system aims to intercept threats ranging from ballistic missiles to hypersonic weapons, even those launched from space. The projected cost is $175 billion, with an initial $25 billion allocated in the upcoming federal budget. Trump has appointed Space Force General Michael Getlin to oversee the project, which is expected to be operational within 3 years. Critics, however, are raising concerns about the ambitious timeline and potential costs, which some estimates suggest could exceed $500 billion over the 2 decades. In legislative news, President Trump met with House Republicans in a closed-door session to rally support for his comprehensive legislative package, dubbed the One Big Beautiful Bill Act. This sweeping bill covers tax reforms, immigration policies, and defense spending. During the meeting, Trump urged party unity and warned against significant alterations to key provisions, including Medicaid and state and local tax deduction caps. Despite his efforts, some conservative Republicans remain hesitant, particularly over proposed Medicaid work requirements and other reforms. On the Senate floor, there was a unanimous vote to pass the No Tax on Tips Act, a bipartisan effort to eliminate federal income taxes on tips. The bill allows traditionally tipped employees to deduct up to $25,000 in tips from their taxable income, provided those tips are reported to employers. This move aims to provide financial relief to service industry workers. The bill now heads to the House for consideration. Turning to international news, a tragic event unfolded in Mexico City where two senior aides to Mayor Clara Brugada were assassinated in a targeted attack. The victims, Jimena Guzman, the mayor's personal secretary, and Jose Munoz, a political advisor, were shot dead by gunmen on a motorcycle in broad daylight. Authorities are investigating the motive, with initial reports suggesting a possible connection to organized crime. This incident marks one of the most significant attacks on public officials in the capital in recent years. For more information on any stories discussed on today's podcast, head on over to jointheflyover.com. We are brought to you by Picasso. Let me put this in perspective. Picasso is backed by heavy hitters like SoftBank and Mavron, the same VCs that backed a company like eBay and Allbirds. So why are they investing? Because Picasso, started by Zillow's co-founder, is changing the way people buy second homes. It's already done over $1 billion in real estate transactions, and the momentum is global. I'm talking record sales in Paris. They've got 8 homes in Cabo, and they just closed their most expensive home yet in London. No wonder gross profit grew 41% in 2024. The opportunity for you? You can invest now at just $2.80 a share. This isn't a crypto token or some vaporwave idea. It's real equity in a real venture-backed company. But again, the price changes on May 29th, so head to picasso.com/theflyover to get the full picture and make your move before that date. Again, that's pacaso.com/theflyover. Coming up, from Elon Musk's 5-year commitment to Tesla to big changes in college sports, NFL players eyeing Olympic gold, and simple weekend habits that make relationships stronger. We've got a little bit of everything coming right up. But first, finance. Let's take a look at what's happening in business and finance today. Eagle Materials stock dropped nearly 9% on Tuesday after the company reported lower profits, blaming adverse weather and rising production costs for the shortfall. Investors weren't thrilled, and the stock reflected that. In retail world, Home Depot says it will hold prices steady despite growing tariff pressures. The announcement comes just after Walmart warned of possible price hikes, which sparked backlash. Home Depot's hoping to avoid a similar consumer reaction by committing to pricing stability, for now at least. Levi Strauss is selling its Dockers brand to Authentic Brands Group in a $311 million deal. Authentic will take over Dockers' name and intellectual property, while Centric Brands will run the day-to-day operations. For Levi's, it's a move to sharpen focus on its core denim business. And finally, Elon Musk says he's not going anywhere, at least not for the next 5 years. He confirmed plans to stay on as Tesla CEO and also mentioned he'll be cutting back on political donations in that time. It's a rare moment of predictability from Musk, who has been at the center of several high-profile business and political debates. Let's see how the markets closed yesterday. It was a down day for Wall Street. The Nasdaq slipped 0.4%, the S&P dropped about the same, and the Dow fell 0.3%. Nothing dramatic, but all 3 major indexes ended in the red. Meanwhile, Bitcoin bounced back, climbing just over 1%, and gold surged more than 2%, hitting $3,297 an ounce. Let's check in on what's happening in the world of sports. First up, a major move is underway in college athletics. The Power Four conferences, that's the SEC, Big Ten, ACC, and Big 12, are threatening to expel member schools that don't sign a contract agreeing to follow the terms of the upcoming House versus NCAA settlement. That case is expected to reshape how athletes are compensated, and conferences want schools locked in ahead of time. The pressure is on as programs try to navigate what could be a new era of college sports economics. In minor league baseball, a new rule experiment is grabbing attention. One league is now testing strike call challenges for checked swings using Hawkeye technology, the same system used in tennis and cricket. Batters and pitchers can now challenge borderline calls in real time, adding a layer of strategy and possibly controversy to the game. Over in the NFL, owners have approved a plan to allow players to compete in the 2028 Olympics, where flag football will also make its international debut. That means you could see NFL stars on the Olympic stage in Los Angeles, something that's never happened before in the world of football. And speaking of NFL stars, Dallas Cowboys quarterback Dak Prescott, is now the league's highest paid player by average salary. Among non-quarterbacks, Cincinnati Bengals wide receiver Jamar Chase tops the earnings list. If you're curious to see who's cashing in at every position, we've got a full breakdown linked in today's show notes, or just head on over to jointheflyover.com. There's always something going on in science and technology. CERN, the European nuclear research organization behind the Large Hadron Collider, has unveiled a major breakthrough: a portable containment system for antimatter. The new device can safely transport antimatter while maintaining low temperatures and magnetic stability, something that's been a huge challenge in physics for decades. Now it could open new doors for particle research and even future energy applications. At the University of Michigan, scientists just test-fired the most powerful laser in the U.S., known as the Zeus laser. It delivered a 2 quadrillion-watt pulse in just a fraction of a second. That's more than 100 times the power output of the entire planet, packed into a moment. The laser is being used to simulate cosmic phenomena and help researchers understand conditions found in deep space. And finally, a new study shows that mice can recognize social rank instantly using just airborne odors and scent cues. Researchers say it's surprisingly similar to how humans pick up on social status visually through things like body language, clothing, or facial expressions. It's a fascinating insight into how social hierarchies work across species and how much we may have in common with the animal world. Who would have thought? It's Wisdom Wednesday, where we take a quick break from the headlines and focus on the things that help us live better, think clearer, and connect deeper. So let's start with your weekend plans, because according to a psychologist who studies long-term couples, the happiest relationships share 5 key habits on the weekends. These include sharing a meal without screens, God forbid, getting outside together, and checking in emotionally, even if it's just for a few minutes. The takeaway: it's not about doing more, it's about being intentional with the time you already have. Now let's talk boundaries. Whether it's at work, with family, or in your social life, clear boundaries protect your energy, your time, and your peace of mind. Experts suggest simple phrases like, "I won't be available this weekend, but let's connect next week," or "I'm not comfortable with that, but here's what I can do." Little shifts in language can make a big difference in how you feel and how others respect your space. And finally, a bit of ancient wisdom with a modern twist: negative visualization, a stoic practice where you imagine worst-case scenarios, not to dwell on fear, but to build resilience and boost gratitude. By thinking what could go wrong, you often gain clarity on what matters most right now and reduce anxiety about things you can't control. So I hope that helped you today in Wisdom Wednesday. Take that practice and share it with someone you know. Today, we've got AI fooling a major newspaper, a headline making engagement with a 49-year age gap, and a poll question that might have you choosing between support, side-eye, or staging an intervention. It's all coming up. Here's a few quick headlines from around the country and beyond. In New Orleans, a maintenance worker at the Orleans Justice Center has been arrested for helping 10 inmates escape. Officials say he shut off the water to a toilet which had been covering a hole in the wall of a cell. That gap led to a full-on jailbreak, and now he's facing serious charges for his role in the scheme. In Chicago, the Sun-Times just published a summer reading list, but here's the twist. 10 of the 15 books were fake. They were generated by AI and submitted by a freelance writer posing as a book reviewer. The paper has since issued a correction, but it's raised new concerns about how easily AI content can slip through the editorial cracks. Over in Paris, French police have recovered a memorial bust of Jim Morrison, the lead singer of The Doors. It was stolen from his grave at Père Lachaise Cemetery nearly 4 decades ago. The bust had become a pilgrimage spot for fans, and its mysterious disappearance only added to Morrison's legend until now. And finally, Jordan Hudson, the 24-year-old girlfriend of 73-year-old UNC football coach Bill Belichick, is reportedly telling friends that the two are engaged. The couple's relationship has drawn plenty of attention due to the age gap, and now it may be heading down the aisle. Only time will tell. It's time for the polls. If you remember yesterday, we talked about the stinkiest tree in America. It's called the calorie pear tree. And in some states, they've even been paying residents to take the invasive trees down. So here was the question and the answers from yesterday. Have you ever smelled a calorie pear tree? 83% said no. 12% said yes. And just 5% said, I called 911. I'm not surprised by that answer. I had never heard of the calorie pear tree until I asked that question in the poll yesterday. But here is the poll question for today. If your best friend confided in you that they're in love with someone that is way older or younger, would you support your friend, raise an eyebrow, stage an intervention, or stay out of it? I have a feeling that this question is a bit of a nod to Bill Belichick and his much younger girlfriend, or maybe fiance now. I think if I were in this situation and my best friend said that they were in love with someone much older or younger, I would probably listen at first. But honestly, behind the scenes, I would raise a bit of an eyebrow, kind of like this. That's my eyebrow raise. What? It's time for trivia. What river flows through the most countries? I already told you it was not in America, so where is it? That would be the Danube. It winds through 10 European countries, starting in Germany's Black Forest and ending in the Black Sea. It covers 1,700 miles along the way. Wow, I didn't know that. But anyways, that is it for today's episode of The Flyover. I'm Ayla Brown. Thank you for spending part of your day with me. We've still got a lot ahead this week, more updates from Washington, a few big business moves to watch, and of course, some stories that are just plain weird in the best way. So get after it today, stay curious, and as always, thanks for flying with us.